Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is we haven't been here on Expert for the House for a little while, so we're really excited to be here. And it's wonderful that you've been able to make some time to join us on this webinar. So tonight, what it's going to look like, we're going to talk about the Discover a Seer. First up, we'll start with a little story about ourselves. And following that, we'll be talking about the product. And then the highlight really of the night is a little testimonial of very, very powerful testimonial of Danielle. It's a recording. And following that, we'll have a talk about the company and the business.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for being on. I'm just going to share the screen so we can get straight into it. And here we go.
So the total presentation will go for about 45 minutes.
Alrighty, so Discover a Seer. So tonight will be, there may be some information here that it may open up new questions for you. You may start thinking about, well, I've got more questions, which is a good thing. So anything that comes up, maybe take a note of it along the way. And the person who invited you here tonight, jot down your question and reach back to them and say, hey, you know, I'd like to know a little bit more, or have you got a little bit more information about some of this information? So tonight's really just a story. It's a series of stories. And stories are important because they paint you into a picture of people's lives that have been changed. And how people's lives are being changed is through this phenomenal breakthrough and the discovery of a seer. So to get things started, we're going to dive straight into a little story of ours, and we'll take it from there. So we'll see you in about 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. So.
Now is a moment of power. There are no
Something happened. Just a moment, a slight technical glitch.
Terribly sorry. That's first. Give me 1 second.
Yes.
It's not it. Don't know what actually happened. There you go. Fun times for everyone. You don't have to be an expert after all. It's technology is going to have its own game to play. So we're just waiting for this to open up. So please bear with us for 1 second. We apologise about that.
Here we go.
1 second.
Now is a moment of power. There are no limits. It's doable. It's freedom. And it's worth it. You just got to hang in there and never give up on your dream. Hi, my name is Sepp. We are Sepp and Jesca. We're living here in Noosa, Sunshine Coast, Australia. We're really grateful to be living the life we do.
When it comes to an ideas man, that's Sepp. He makes me laugh. He is the funniest man, and that just does it for me.
Jesca is my angel. You know, we may not see her wings, but she's truly an angel. When she goes into a room and she smiles, the whole room feels it. And she is just a bubble of love.
And of course, he has the biggest heart, the way he cares for each and every person, and has so much compassion for each and every one. And on top of that, he truly, truly loves me, which makes me feel on top of the world. Thank you.
Thanks, babe. So when I was introduced to a seer, I caught the vision immediately. Like as a little boy, that whole intuition thing and visionary, from the time I could talk and, you know, wanted to go out there and make a difference to the world. And I knew that, okay, This is visionary. This is breakthrough technology. This is stuff that the world doesn't even know about yet.
Also, I had an amazing product experience within 3 weeks on the skin of my face. So much so that I was just overjoyed, and I said, okay, well, I'm in with the product, but I still don't see that this business model will work. You got invited to go to a global convention, which was really bad timing for us, but we made the decision to go. And that changed everything for me. Pretty much the first words of founder Tyler Norton when he opened up, he said, if your ego is more important than your principles, then we don't want you here. And I went, yes, I'm in.
I started to get really excited because here's this company that is teaching the world in business how to interact with kindness and respect and love and compassion, the way my parents raised me.
This was the most beautiful company that I could work with and I could align myself with, that it had the same values as I have, as we have. Once I really understood what this meant, this network marketing business model with a company like this, I wish that was around when I was a single mother, because that would have made life so much easier, and I would have been able to provide for my boy the way I wanted to.
Welcome to our, it's actually global headquarters for our business.
To be able to live here in this beautiful place where we can just work from home, we can be together all the time as much as we like, and we have more board meetings here or in the boat or out there on the river or on the beach.
We choose to run the story of our life. We get to choose, this morning, let's get up at sunrise, get on our stand-up paddleboard and go across the river to the beach and connect with nature, and no phones, no computers, just Jesca and I, the eagles, the stingrays, the dolphins out there and the whales in the ocean and the fish.
It is just so liberating, and with this flexibility of time as we work, we get to find new hobbies and new interests.
I'm surfing again for the first time in 13 years, and I'm having the best of my life. And what's even more fun, Jessica's always wanted to surf, and she's not a surfer, but she's up there flying with me.
I'm really sorry, guys. Could somebody please just send a message to us if you're seeing the video? We're not sure what's happened.
There's a PowerPoint issue.
Yeah. We're really sorry about this. If somebody would just like to jump in the chat for us, please, and just let us know if they were actually seeing the video, not seeing the video. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. We will, we can do it again. Let's just see if we can get it to work this time. So hold on.
No, it happens when you share the slideshow.
Okay, somebody's. Thank you for your help, guys. We're really sorry about this.
Back to screen share, yeah. So you can see that. Let's see what happens when we're starting to play, because that's where there seems to be an issue.
Thank you. So we'll just push play, and just somebody could just let us know that the video is working, please. Thank you.
Now is a moment of power. There are no limits. It's doable. It's freedom. And it's worth it. You just got to hang in there and never give up on your dream. Hi, my name is Sepp. We are Sepp and Jesca. We're living here in Noosa, Sunshine Coast, Australia. We're really grateful to be living the life we do.
When it comes to an ideas man, that's Sepp. He makes me laugh. He is the funniest man, and that just does it for me.
Jesca is my angel. You know, we may not see her wings, but she's truly an angel. When she goes into a room.
Okay, we've got technical problems, so we're really sorry. We're not gonna play it any further. It's a real shame. It's we'll just go straight back into the presentation, and we'll just start from scratch and bypass that. So.
It's a pretty nice story, and we can direct you to where you can find it.
Okay. How about we take take three? I'm going to bypass the video. I'm really sorry. It's a nice story about how ASEA has impacted and changed our lives. So I'm going to move right along just to honour people's time. So, and I'll jump straight into it. You know, this is a pretty bold statement, and it's a pretty big statement, but it's true. And I'll just make sure we've got a message coming in. Hopefully everyone is... Oh, you can't wait to see it. Okay, what we'll do is I'll add the link at the end of this. So thank you everyone, and I'll continue to keep going. Appreciate your help. So ASEA, yes, it's one of the most significant health anti-aging. In fact, I actually like to call it reverse aging, because I've learnt a lot since it's been coined that breakthroughs of our time. It's definitely a category creator. And what is a category creator? Well, it's something that is, it's never been created or discovered before. So it's new science, it's new frontiers in the biotech space, and it's very exciting. And to be honest, you know, ASEA is now 10 years in as far as being an open company and a business globally to the world. And still to this day, really less than 1% of people actually know about it. So as science has been, research and scientists have been working on this for decades, and really what they declared of what ASEA has done in stabilizing this breakthrough has been nothing short of, well, they say it's impossible, a miracle. Well, this is the story we're going to unfold for you. So when you have breakthroughs, there's obviously an opportunity, but the opportunity comes because lives have been profoundly changed. So let's get clear, first of all, what ASEA is definitely not. Well, it's not a vitamin, it's not a mineral, it's not an antioxidant, it's not an exotic juice, an oil, or a CBD. So we're clear about that. So ASEA Redox goes way beyond nutrition and ingredients. ASEA Redox impacts your health at a depth that no other supplement on this planet can even come close to achieving. Let's have a look at what it is. Your body is the most complex network system on Earth. It's a bit like how, you know, a lot of people might say to you, how does the mobile phone work? Well, I don't really know. It's pretty complex, but we just know that it works. And it's really through a communication network. Similar to what's happening from a mobile phone, what's happening inside the human body. Let's have a look at that. To give you an analogy, it's a bit tough to put this one up. We also were in the challenging of fires. We nearly lost our place as well. But the analogy, I think, is very profound, because I think we're all going to really connect with it, all of us in Australia. Let's say that your house goes up in flames, and you know you're really grab your phone and you want to reach out and ask the fire brigade for help. And what's happening is, the analogy is that if your phone does not have very good cell service or mobile range, as they call it, the fire brigade, police, ambulance, all those sort of scenarios, even though they may have all of the equipment to be able to put this fire out in time, the signal that's being put out to the world to help for the rescue, it's just not getting out there. So the analogy is that it's exactly the same as what's happening inside of our body. So redox signaling molecules, they provide critical communication between, in and around every single cell of our body. So that's really the really basic essential of what are these molecules doing inside of our body. They're communicating at full bars. They're bringing back the full communication to every cell. So let's have a look at that. Redox signaling molecules, this is the body systems that are in place. And if you have a look at, we have brain cells, fat cells, red blood cells, nerve cells, heart cells. Each of these cells make up, there's trillions. They say there's about 75 trillion cells in the body. And they also make up the tissues and the organs of the body, and they're also creating the systems.
Oh, and it's like the share's just not working today. Sorry, guys.
I'll stop the share and I'll go again because
there's something very strange going on with the share. So
just give me a second. We'll thank you for letting us know. We'll go back into.
All right, here we go. Now there seems to be a problem as soon as we try to change the slide to the following one, that it starts that it pauses on the so let's see if we go.
Okay, I'll thank you for helping us. We deeply apologize. Sometimes technology gets wins, whether it's serving us or not. Well, there you go. There's cell signaling going on inside this computer, so it definitely needs some help.
Let's see how we are.
Another message coming in. Just
no, it sounds like it would have been nice that you will have to wing it. Yeah, we're winging it. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, we'll keep going. So basically what we were talking about is that every single cell in the human body creates every single function that's happening inside the body. And ultimately that makes who we are. Now, the most important part of this whole equation is that redox signaling molecules is critical to the survival of every single one of these 75 trillion cells. And they are really the basis of all cellular communication and health. If we don't have a healthy cell, none of us get well. It's as simple as that. So let's just have a look at this. Inside of every single one of our cells, it's a little bag of salt water.
Just checking that you can see the new image.
Hopefully you can see it.
Let's see. It's a nice communication like this. One new message, two new messages. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So I'll keep charging on. So every single cell in our body is made out of salt and water. And what's inside of our cells, we have mitochondria. There's about 5 to 10,000 mitochondria, depending on which cluster of cells they're making, which organs, which systems in the body. And the mitochondria, they're really the engine or the powerhouse that creates energy for the cell. But the other thing that happens is the mitochondria spin out and create redox signaling molecules. So just like your tear drop in your eye, when you blink, anything that's happening is because of redox signaling molecules. So initially what we're looking at is redox signaling molecules are made in the cell from salt and water through the mitochondria, and they're functioning through every single one of those 75 trillion cells. The problem is, what's happening is that as we're aging, and especially after the age of 10, the production of these molecules slow down by 10% every decade. So by the time we hit 50 years of age, regardless of how healthy we are, we're going to be having about 50% less of these molecules reoccurring and growing and expanding inside of our body. Not only that, the other things that are impacting us is, is diet, is stress, environmental toxins. I don't know if any of you have had a tough day at work, or you have emotional challenges with, dynamics in family, or people that are unwell. All of those things are actually diminishing the cellular efficiency and the communication. So if as this is happening, all of these environmental toxins, and, I think if we look at even the Sydney Harbour right now, just looking at those fumes of smoke, I think nearly all of us in Australia have been affected by these fires one way or the other. But, all of that is an environmental toxin, and what it's doing is impacting the redox signaling deficiencies and imbalances to go further downhill, which means the whole cellular healing process becomes very slow and sluggish. I can imagine for those of you who are living in Sydney Harbour there, the whole systems of the roads, all those sort of things there, they're going to slow down and get sluggish. It's the same thing that's happening inside of ourselves. So to be able to replenish ourselves with more of these redox signaling molecules truly is groundbreaking, to say the least. And what's interesting about this is, due to the highly reactive, fleeting nature of these molecules, science really declared that it was impossible to stabilize them outside the body. The analogy that I like to say is that when you go camping and you drop a log into the fire at nighttime, and there's a little tiny spark that goes up into the sky and then it dissipates. Well, you imagine trying to capture that spark and then take it with you for the following weekend to light your barbie. Well, we know that's not going to happen because the energy of that spark has already been used. So that's where science really thought this is impossible to stabilize it. So the groundbreaking breakthrough is really the fact that these molecules have been stabilized outside of the human body. And so it's redox signaling molecules are not the breakthrough, it's the stabilization of them outside of the body. Keep moving along. So here we have it. This is the world's first and only redox signaling supplement that exists on our planet. And I'm going to hand it over to Jesca now.
So you may be wondering how this ASEA redox is created. It starts out with pristine salt water, and then the salt water is broken down into free-floating atoms by an electrolysis system, which is electricity and water. And then from there, once the atoms are free-floating, then they can be restructured into exactly the same shape as the redox signaling molecules in our body. So you end up with a saline solution with stabilized redox signaling molecules. Now, ASEA has funded millions of dollars in research. You see all these different companies that have been a part of the different types of research. And I'm going to mention a few of them as I go through the presentation. So we have ASEA Redox, the liquid that gives you cellular health from the inside out as you drink it. And there's also Renew 28, which is the cellular health from the outside in. It's a gel, and you can apply this to your skin. Now, this technology is fully patented, and what's really important to know is that BioAgilytix laboratory is actually testing each and every batch whether to see if there's redox signaling molecules in the saline solution. Now, BioAgilytix, who are they? That's what I wondered when I first saw this name. Now, they are actually the laboratory that tests for 8 out of the 10 top pharmaceutical companies. If they say there's ABC in their medication, then BioAgilytix test to see if that is in case true. So ASEA is also tested by BioAgilytix, and every batch gets a stamp of approval when they find redox in there. Very, very essential. Now, so it definitely has an athletic advantage, and this is fantastic. So it improves the endurance and recovery for athletes. Now look at this mouse. Mice don't really run any further for anything, and there was a 7-day study done that mice drinking ASEA Redox ran 29% further until they were just absolutely tired. So they were also utilizing more fat as fuel. Very, very significant. Now, these are the athletes that are that you may have heard of, Olympic athletes as well as top athletes that are using ASEA for their recovery and also improvement in output. So we have Bria Larson, Cody Miller, the swimmers, and Kathy Waite, the triathlete, and Christian Arbini. There's quite a few more. Because ASEA is 0% toxic, and it's native to the body, it's saline solution, simply that, with redoxycycline molecules. That's why athletes can take this. Now, I want to make sure that you understand that ASEA and Renew 28 are not intended to prevent, diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or medical condition. It simply helps the body heal and repair itself. So seeing is believing. That went really, really fast. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Renew 28, the miracle gel. So Renew 28 has the redoxycycline molecules. And June, an independent clinical study was done for 4 weeks, and it was done by Dermatest and Stevens and Associates. They found that there's 16% improvement in cell renewal, 23% improvement in smoothness and wrinkles, and 20% improvement in elasticity. And you can really see this in those two, the before and after photos, with 4 weeks difference. So aging slower. Then there's skin challenges, improvement in age spots and redness and irritation. You can really see also the girl at the bottom, how that would make her feel. Not only does she look better, but how she will feel walking into a room of people. It's amazing for first aid. So here's a photo of someone who'd fallen and bruised, and the result very, very quickly within an hour or so. First aid, whether it's cuts or blisters or burns or anything like that, think again of the cell renewal that redoxycycline helps with. So discomfort of relief, relief of discomfort. So if you apply the gel 3 times in 5 minutes, the redoxycycline molecules actually enter the body on a deeper level, and that's how you find a great relief in discomfort. There's a general health. And this man on day 0, just before using Renew 28, he was very, very unwell. In fact, he couldn't go to work. And after 6 days, you can see he's very much improved. And after 22 days of using the Renew 28, he had so much energy and felt so much better. He could actually go back to work, and you can just see the light in his eyes, and he has so much more joy everyday living. And this story I really, really love. This is Rosie, and she was using the ASEA drink and the Renew 28. First up, she went to the doctor and said she wasn't feeling well. And the doctor was working with redoxycycline molecules and found that, or recommended it to Rosie. And he felt it was a good idea to take a before photo, which was a very good idea, because 7 weeks later, Rosie came back and she said, well, I don't think this is doing anything. So the doctor took an after photo after 7 weeks, and that's when Rosie realized that there was such a remarkable change and improvement. So she kept taking both the drink and the gel, and you can see at age 86 and then age 87 what she's looking like. And I think if these photos didn't tell you the age when they were taken, definitely I would say that the picture on the right would be the younger Rosie, and the picture on the left, the older version. But you can see clearly here what these redoxycycline molecules have done for her skin and her overall well-being. And here's my story. So the before picture and the after picture, there was 3 weeks in between, and I can tell you, when I didn't look at the before photo when it was taken. I just started to use the gel, and after 3 weeks already, I looked at the before photo, And I was totally, totally shocked that I had so many wrinkles. I had no idea, and looked pretty pale too. Now, the after photo I looked at then, and I can assure you I was so joyful, because I found it very difficult to believe what I saw, but that's how it was. Just simply taken with an iPhone. And the improvement with the wrinkles and skin elasticity was phenomenal. And also the color in my skin, that is actually because of the increased oxygen in the cells. It's very important to understand that, to know that it's to set correct expectations. So the body does with these redox cycling molecules what it does. And many people experience an improvement within 1 week, whether it's more energy or people sleep better. Now, 50% of people experience it within 1 month, and over 90% of people experience a very, very positive result within 3 months. So apart from the Renew 28 gel, there's also the Renew serum, which is the blue tube you can see, and an overall skincare with a cleanser and a moisturizer, which are all clinically tested, have no nasties in them, and because of that are suitable for all skin types. Absolutely wonderful product. You can see Miss Universe Norway also uses it. Now, ASEA has really the complete cellular health package. We live and die at the cellular level, and we have here the ASEA range, which is not for retail in Australia, but we can consume it. And so this is a multivitamin mineral range, including pre and probiotics, that is totally natural. There is no synthetics in them, and really give all the nutrients for the body that we need. So how do these two work together? Really have a look at, if you think of when you're building a house, the components to build a house, like your windows and your roof and your bricks and your timber, all those bits and pieces, that is like the vitamins and the minerals, the nutritionals. And the redox, when you're building the house, you need laborers and you need supervisors. Now, if you have only laborers and supervisors, you're not going to have your house built if you don't have materials. And the same with the other way around. You may have all the materials sitting there on the block of land, but if you don't have the laborers and supervisors, nothing's going to happen. And the same with ASEA Redox. So it's really that you need both. You need the redox cycling molecules to send the message out as the laborers, and the super duper whole food, superfood nutritionals to create a perfect cellular health. And these are all the ingredients, and the person that's invited you here today can walk you through it and send you the information for the what's exactly in it. Now, what are the experts saying? Here's Anne-Louise Gittleman. She's the First Lady of Nutrition in the United States of America and globally well known. She's published many, many books. And she says that ASEA, in my humble estimation, is the greatest advance in lifestyle medicine, which harnesses the power of your own body to keep you well. She is so strong about this that she's actually rewriting all the books that she's written, including ASEA Redox. And here's Dr. Gary Samuelson, who actually stabilized these redox cycling molecules outside the body. And he says that this technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we have ever seen. Now, let's go to, I really hope this testimonial is going to work. It's a little video, so let's see if this video is going to work.
My story starts back in June of 2012. I was actually hit by a drunk driver and I sustained an injury to my brain. It turned my world completely upside down. I was 23 years old and I ended up having to move back with my parents and have a full-time focus on recovery. A year into my accident, my neurologist told me that this was just my new normal. And you can imagine, it sort of shattered my world. About 2.5.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
it's so sensitive. I will tell you the story of Danielle.
Let's keep going and all.
So Danielle had a car accident, as you may have just heard. And, well, in a nutshell, by taking the ASEA Redox, she now has her life back. From having to live at home with her parents, I don't remember the time frame that it took. You may remember that. And it may have been 6 months or maybe faster. And so she's now living an independent life and being very successful. And she's delighted that, of course, she's got her life back. It's not working.
So sorry, guys. Really don't know why it's doing this, but we will give it another crack. Hopefully we can. Okay, I think I've got it. So I won't hold my breath, but I'll keep my toes crossed. I might just keep going because we're losing quite a bit of time with this presentation, and we're deeply sorry about that. So I'll move along.
Here we go.
So yeah, I'll take over from here. So I guess, yeah, you missed the story, but I think you're getting, for those of you who are invited today, you may have been on Facebook, the closed group, where there's over 95,000 people's stories that are shared on ASEA Healthy Self. And, you know, the person who invited you may have also shared some stories as well. So, you know, at the end of the day, when you have a breakthrough that's so profound, naturally we are going to share the story about the company because, you know, we attempted to share our story. We've given you the basics, the basic understandings of these redox signaling molecules. And now we want to share with you how this high impact technology is really making a difference. Where for those of you, I think everybody could definitely make, their lives a little bit more freed up if they could, first of all, have their product paid for, or they could help cover their mortgage or put their kids through school. Any of those sort of things would make a difference for any of us. So it's not just a health breakthrough, it's also the way this product has been shared around the world. There's a story behind that. I'm going to go into that. And that's really the genesis of ASEA. So the genesis of ASEA started really with father and son, Virtus and Tyler Norton, extraordinary human beings. And for those of you who have met them, you'll be very, you know that you're moved by the greatness of these people and the warmth of their hearts and how they care about people. And Virtus was heading up the Kraft Food, which is nearly a $40 billion company. And his son Tyler reached out to his dad saying that there's a biotech company that was struggling a little bit and they needed some help. And Virtus, being a strategist, that's his background, he chose to sit on the board of this biotech company that had been doing research for 17 years in these redox signaling molecules development. And long story short, they were running out of money to continue. And so Virtus knew that they had their hands on something here. So he acquired the technology. And they thought, well, you know, we've cracked the code. We know what we've got. We've stabilized. So they've created the breakthrough, which is stabilizing these molecules outside the human body. And they thought, well, the logical next best step is to hand it over to the big pharmaceutical companies so that the world could access it. Interestingly, though, before Big Pharma was invited in, they were using, ASEA didn't have a name of the company or the product at that point in time. It was just called The Stuff. And people were just trialing it, seeing if people would drink it, taste it, see what would happen. And, you know, 40 people turned into 120 people in 24 countries over 2 months. So word of mouth actually really started getting and seeing phenomenal results. And it started to grow. But what was interesting is the big pharmaceutical company, once they discovered and they agreed that there was indeed a breakthrough so significant, they offered Vertus and Tyler and a couple of other gentlemen who are in the boardroom, a generational wealth check that was so big that they said to them, we're offering you money here that you won't ever want to talk to anyone else. It's generational wealth, but there's one condition. So all of those people you see there in the background there is that we have to take all that product off them and no one will have access to that anymore. Vertus, in his, I suppose, dismay and shock, really said, well, wait a second, there's a lot of people's lives here are really been impacted in a positive and powerful way with no side effects, no toxins, and they're actually getting better. And big pharmaceutical companies said, well, this is the deal we're offering. And, take the money or that's it. So they ushered them out of the building, and very quickly they made a decision that we can't stop this thing. It's too big, it's too powerful. And really, this is a gift for humanity. And so they said no to the big pharma, and their principles, their integrity, their kindness, their purpose was override the money value. So they decided to say no to the money and found a way to get it out to the people. And the way they did that, well, purely because in the initial trial stages, in the early times, it was just a word of mouth, and people started sharing this, and it went global in a couple of months. So that's how it all happened. So, this is a part of the story. Where it led to next was, how do we share it to the world? Well, first of all, let's give you a little bit of a background about the story of the company. So we know that this company has the integrity and the goods to be able to deliver this globally. So from day one, back in 2009, the company has been profitable ever since. They own the only manufacturing production facility, which is literally down the road from the global headquarters there you can see on the top left. And they've got 29 legal entities around the world. So it's a legal product and company that's now gone global. They're shipping, it's actually over 34 countries around the world with 18 distribution centers. And in Australia, we've got one in Sydney and one in Western Australia in Perth. The associate support now in how they're supporting this story to be told is supported in 16 languages. Over 600 million in sales has already been, and that's actually grown. Over $250 million has been paid in gratitude checks to the associates around the world in that period of time. There's well over 25 members now that have earned over $1 million in their time with us here by reaching out and helping others. And now they've now created a whole new category, which is people that have actually literally earned over $10 million in thank you or gratitude checks. It's pretty extraordinary. And again, the company keeps growing, but really what drives this company, what drives this business opportunity, and what drives this product is that tens of thousands of people's lives are being changed. And that's why it's such a powerful impact on humanity. So, let's have a look at this. This is an income disclosure statement. And it's income that had been earned in 2018. This is in Australian dollars. And if we look in this center, the monthly average, these are the kind of incomes that people are earning for those who are, deciding to engage part-time, overtime, full-time, whatever they choose to do. So it just gives you a little indication. On the left-hand side, it's just the different levels of achievement or growth curves that people are on and the different levels of income. So even at an average, can you imagine $2,700 just here? That's someone's mortgage being paid for every month. Even as little as, $300-400, that can make a huge difference to an entire family. So I guess at the end of the day, if I was going to share this with others and I wanted to, take it to the next level, you could supplement your income. You could fire your boss. That's a fun one. Or it could be a plan B income. And then again, we've opted for the lifestyle income so that we can travel the world and continue to reach out and help people globally. I guess the question a lot of people are asking, well, can I do this? Well, let's have a look at that. So your business, you're definitely an independent associate, but you're definitely not by yourself. We have training programs which are all free of charge. Your website is free of charge. We have mentor programs. We have, recorded trainings that are available to people 24/7, and all this is free. So can I do it? It's up to you. That depends on what you want to get out of this and discovering, is it worthy of my time to get out of bed for? And I think once you start seeing people's lives change, it'll make sense. And I think the other thing that's interesting, the last 30 years, I think we'd all agree there that the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, exotic juices, they were the trend. They were the thing that was steering what's been happening. But the future, or the next 30 years, is definitely going to be the redox signaling space. And the ASEA redox signaling technology is, well, first of all, it's a category creator. It's been validated by third-party science. It's definitely changing people's lives around the world. Patented, which means no one else can get their hands on it. There is no competition, and still less than 1% of the population knows about it. So financially, from that perspective, if you're looking at evaluating, is this something that I could earn a few dollars with or a lot more? 100%. It's definitely a tremendous financial opportunity. The space, it's like you've probably heard of the perfect storm, and these kind of industries here, they're already $1 billion industry where redox can fit into that space. And when you're looking at, health and well-being, you're looking at skincare or athletic performance, ASEA fits into every one of these categories and more. There's so much more to it. So how does this work? Well, you can, for 60 Aussie dollars, you can set up a wholesale account. That gives you access to the product at wholesale. Yes, you get a free website with that as well. All the information there is, as far as how this thing works and how you can place orders, share with people, family, friends around the world. You do a one-time order enrollment on initial enrollment where you get heavily discounted packs. And it also has a user-friendly ordership program, which means every month you're going to have, as Jesca mentioned, when you're setting healthy expectations, it's really important that we maintain the regular intake of these molecules to support the body in its recovery process over a period of time. And because setting up an auto-ship program, it helps you with growing and getting paid in the business side of it, but it also has a loyalty rewards program where you can earn free product, which is pretty cool. Who wouldn't want free product? Now, really, to wrap it up, I really love this quote. This was on 2015. This is when Virtus retired, and we were at that event in the States. And this was his quote in wrapping up for the whole event. And he said, "We are at the start of something big with great purpose. And right now is the moment that we begin influencing the future." So with that, I'm just going to stop the share. And here we are. So again, we apologize everyone for the technical glitches, but if you're sitting here and you still got questions, that's a good thing. If you've got some things answered, that's great. But really, at the end of the day, my life personally has been profoundly changed. I'm still in this body, healthier than I've been, and I'm deeply grateful to this company, to my sponsor, Melissa, who invited me to this technology, and how these molecules have enabled my body to repair and heal itself. And then coming from traditional business, having a building industry where the stress, the risk, and the overheads was really compounding my ability to thrive. I was definitely not in that space. I was going in the other direction. It's now giving us a freedom to travel the world. We have a 6-figure income. We do travel the world. We help people. We have no staff. We have no overheads. And sadly, you didn't get to see our video, but the person who invited you, they can share the link with that. And I just want to thank you for your time tonight. And again, your patience for bearing with our technology. Maybe our computer needs some redox signaling molecules. I'll hand you over to Jesca if you want to say some things there as well.
Yeah, well, so you can find our story on YouTube when you go to ASEA Global, and you can search for Sepp and Jesca ASEA story, and you will find that video. And with the same for Danielle, you can search in YouTube for Sia, Danielle's story, and that will get you there as well. So again, also, I'm so sorry for the technical glitch, but I think we all know that these things happen sometimes.
And
it's been a real pleasure being here with you today, and thanks so much for being here.
appreciate you all, guys. Have a great night, whatever you're doing. The other thing, please reach out to the person who invited you tonight. For those who are an associate, they do have some amazing Christmas bundles where you can get free tubes of Renew 28 and sample tubes. So please reach out. I think somebody's just tagged a link there. So for those of you, look into the chat. I think that's it there. So I'm not going to click it, otherwise it'll crash on me again. So again, this isn't about us when we're sharing. Right now, this technology, our story is going to have a ripple effect of people's lives that are going to be changed forever, and they're going to be people we'll probably never ever meet. So, reach out, reach back, dive into your heart, and just know that it's a good story and it's worth being a part of. At the very least, explore more and see what it could be for you and your family. Love you heaps. Thanks for being on.